2021 was a distressing period. We had to deal with a weird-looking disease, unemployment, isolation, and restrictions. The epidemic had thrusted our lives into unknown territory which fundamentally shifted our day-to-day routines. At this time of my life, and perhaps others too, uncertainty and anxiety was fermenting due to these factors. And on top of that, I had to deal with relationship problems and college assignments. It was a difficult time, and my form of escapism was... Yeah, I just watched some anime and played some video games. My god, there are a lot of great anime series that came out last year. Coming right at the bat. Horimiya, Demon Slayer, Komi-san, Blue Period, Tokyo Revengers, even though the start was really boring. Odd Taxi, AOT, Megalobox 2, Skate, and finally, the best one, Re:Zero. However, there was one anime that left a lasting impression on me, and stuck with me even to this day. It stood out among the sea of shows due to its unique story, animation, and characters. I mean heck, just look at its poster compared to other animes that came out last year. This show is none other than Sonny Boy, written and directed by Shingo Natsume, who has directed these well-acclaimed titles as well. Sonny Boy is an art house anime, a genre defined by its experimental and artistic style and content. It's a type of anime that is similar to Fooly Cooly, where the story kinda goes... but you just vibe with it. But do not let this deter you from watching these types of shows. Sometimes we need a break from conventional shows that have a taut storyline that goes from point A to point B. Instead, a show where you can lose yourself and find its impressions, mood, and atmosphere at the forefront of the anime. And that is exactly where Sonny Boy stands. Learning the plot of Sonny Boy is quite simple. A group of students suddenly went adrift, transporting them into a dimension or world where it has its own laws. For instance, an island that combusts blue fire to objects when an unfair transaction is made, or when a world's rule is broken, you're punished with a penalty and you involuntarily do something embarrassing or tiring. The students develop occult powers which they test out in these worlds, and they hop from world to world trying to adapt and learn their environment, while ultimately trying to find their way back to their original reality. Simple, see? However, when explaining and understanding Sonny Boy's story, it is like learning the lore of Dark Souls. Countless times, the anime starts off a new story then leaves it open-ended, and this is palpable in most episodes. Every episode is designed to have its own tale and setting where our lead characters happen to stumble upon their journey. A similar approach to how Cowboy Bebop constructs their episodes. But instead of focusing on a simple story progression by either a case study of characters or developing their world setting, Sonny Boy bombards you with profound philosophical ideas and social issues, such as society's power dynamics, scapegoating, mob mentality, and tackling the purpose of life or death. If there are any forms of character development, it's hard to catch on because it's conveyed implicitly, while you're distracted by the influx of information thrown at you. Likewise, the episodes are like bubbles, as the central idea in each episode has little to no correlation to the other episodes. On top of that, characters that seem to be important players like this venti looking guy, or any new characters introduced either have no conclusion or have a vague resolution to their arc. The story is so inconsistent that it becomes consistent on being inconsistent. It sounds like I'm complaining a lot here, but this aspect of the show is what makes it a lot more lovable. You see, as Hidetaka Miyazaki stated in an interview, he was an avid reader when he was a child. However, there are some passages he could not understand, so within these blanks, his imagination fills it in with his own story, operating like a co-writer, which pretty much surmises his game philosophy present in his works. The same practice should apply to watching Sonny Boy. It is a story that doesn't provide answers and closure, but raises questions, leaving you with your own interpretations. Perhaps this ideology influenced the structure of this anime. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised since there are some Dark Souls references dotted here and there. In my first viewing, I have to admit I didn't understand a lot of what was shown and it left me confused, but it weighed heavily on me, like my cat sitting on top of me at 2 AM. Upon rewatching it, I was like, my baboon mind expanded, and then I realized that this is a pretty good anime. Episode by episode, if we shovel through the complicated ideas, we get to understand the nuance and depth of our lead characters. Take for instance, Mizuho. At first glance, she is an aloof and grumpy girl who would lash out on anybody who stands in her way. As the story progresses, we soon discover that an incident took place where her actions have caused her mentor to be dismissed from his job, all due to Mizuho's intolerance to the rigged student council election. Now, this creates a layer of subtext to her cold and distrustful nature. Her strong sense of morality is crushed, and she realizes that people are just sometimes doo-doo to get what they want. Another well thought out character is our main protagonist, Nagara. He starts off as a depressed high schooler. He has no goals or passions. He couldn't even fill out his college form. Teachers get annoyed at him, and he lays back doing nothing. He is in a backwater. He avoids any responsibilities and any form of social engagement. Despite seemingly leading a peaceful existence, he is completely devoid of life. It manifests into apathy, which shows how uncaring he is for the dying bird he saw in front of his school. These characteristics reflect highly to his power to summon the possibilities of reality. Through stress or anxiety, he summons a new world as his form of escapism. And his shell starts to crack through when he meets Nozomi, who has shown him hope. In Nagara's journey, he gradually finds his self-confidence and willingness to wallow through the labyrinth of life. I think the anime greatly depicted the multiple accounts and approaches of characters getting back to their reality. Some concede and believe that it is impossible, others follow a strict regimen just for the sake of it, or characters would rather build their own empire and factions, abandoning the idea of coming back to their home. The different beliefs shown by the characters are messy, sprawling, and obtrusive. Nagara has to navigate his way through these beliefs and ultimately hammers him into shaping his own belief and identity. It's a sign of growth and maturity. His life starts to move forward again, and is determined to return to his reality. The anime has a unique direction when developing characters and delivering information. One that juts out is its abrupt editing style. A scene between two characters having a conversation would have another unrelated scene breaking in. It disrupts the flow of a scene, but its unconventional style would place us engaged in what is unfolding. Typically, an anime would make it clear that the things we see are relevant and coherent to the story. It is especially done in a fashion of exposition. Either it is a flashback, a plot point, or a simple world building. In Sonny Boy, it is elusive and mysterious. Begs the question why it is there in the first place. We see Nozomi's recurring gaze in the discussion, a random box with feathers, Mizuho's ring that vanishes in the next episode. Like, look at this. It is all left untold, but visually we try to piece the puzzle. Scenes would be told by reading between the lines, and we understand a lot more about the characters through their reactions and gazes. With these meaningful silences and glimpses of scenes, it creates a motive. It hits important notes of themes to this coming-of-age story. The visual spectacle only adds to the elusiveness and deliberate style of Sonny Boy. Watching the anime is like stepping into a fever dream, and it reminds me so much of reading these books. Art style is minimal yet beautifully curated. A lot of what is shown is chock full of symbolisms or just downright bizarre. The world of Sonny Boy is incredibly bleak, and its outlook is pretty nihilistic. However, I sometimes forget how cruel their world is when I see the alluring illustrations that I immerse myself into. And did I forget the soundtrack? Well. They went... And I put it the same caliber as these two animes. There are many valid points that show Sonny Boy is nonsensical and pretentious. Overall, the anime might be an easy pass for you all since the array of behemoths coming out this year. The entire journey of Nagara seems to be pointless and nihilistic by nature, and it all concludes spectacularly underwhelming. However, I think that is the point of this anime. Nothing in the world can change, and your talents and abilities seem to be insignificant. Despite the bleak reality the anime painted, pretty much the only thing you can change is yourself. In this case, Nagara developed to be an optimistic person through his journey. He learned to love and care for his friends, and he marched into uncertainty with resolution and a smile. So yeah, just go watch Sonny Boy, it's pretty good.